The mid-season transfer window has finally finished. And now what I want to do is rank the best transfer windows and the worst transfer windows in the Premier League as an avid Premier League watcher. I have made 5 tiers for the Premier League clubs to see where I would rank their window. We have the biggest, most extraordinary window. Could improve their form. Meh, Gulag, and Arsenal.
It's a disgrace. That's what it is, a disgrace.
We can start the first one straight away. Yeah, getting straight in it. Arsenal have done niche, so they get their own tier. We have 6 transfers in the January transfer window for City, and to be fair, there are some pretty big names here. We've got, Kusanov didn't have a great start, but he's definitely going to be a future great at City, I reckon, as a centre-back. Same with Vitor Rice. Omar Marmoush is I'm a big Marmoush fan, to be honest. I can't say I watch him play much, but I do quite like Marmoush, and as a United fan, I hate that he's gone to City, but it's a great transfer for them. I've heard good things about Nico Gonzalez as well, and they've been crying out for a DM because of the lack of Rodri. Another centre-back from Real Valladolid. They've definitely tried sorting themselves out to the best of their abilities, and it's looking good. So, I think we can start off straight away with a biggest, most extraordinary window. I will say though, when you generated as much money as these man are, it's quite easy to have a good window in it. 115 and that. They better get relegated to National League North, bro. They're going to be playing #fucking United next season. I need to see it. It's just not going to happen, is it? Let's be real. They're getting a fine, and that's about it.
More than you believe, I'm happy.
All right, Liverpool. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Liverpool have not made a single transfer. Let me double check that. Yeah, their latest transfers were both last season. Although, if I'm being dead serious, I don't think they need to have any incomings or outgoings. They play Everton tomorrow when I'm recording this, and they've got a game in hand on the rest of the league, and they're 5 to 7 points clear. So I'll put it in meh, because they definitely could have brought some players in, but it's not exactly the end of the world that they didn't. Do you get it? Right, next on the list is Aston Villa, and they have been quite active in the transfer window in January. Daniel Marlin from Dortmund is a great signing. I don't know much about this Andres Garcia, but I'm fairly certain that Villa have needed a right back, so that you could argue is a good deal. Marcus Rashford is a great deal since they got rid of John Duran. They sold him to Al Nassr, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, they got quite a few players out this transfer window, but they were players that weren't really playing much anyway, so it's good deals. Louis Barry's going to be a good one for the future, so keep sending him out on loan is brilliant for them. Marco Asensio is a great signing, also on loan. Considering Villa are pushing for top 4, they've had a solid window. I'm thinking either could improve their form or biggest, most extraordinary window, and I don't really know. Do you know what? I think Villa have probably had one of the better windows from the league, so I'm gonna put Villa in the top tier. Little biggest, most extraordinary window. Right, Totspur. Right, I have a bone to pick with Tottenham Hotspur. Right, well, not necessarily Tottenham Hotspur. It's more so Bayern Munich. Right. And also my own club. So Tottenham got Matis Tell on loan, and United were on track to get Matis Tell on loan, but decided not to pay the 5 million fee that he would have costed for the loan. Then they gave flipping Tell to Spurs on loan anyway. I think there might be an option to buy, I've heard, but if there's not, then it just makes no sense. It makes no sense. We needed a striker so bad, and he's gone to Spurs. But no, in terms of Spurs' window, I mean, they needed the goalie. So bringing the goalie in with all the injuries they've had was a good signing. And to be fair, I do quite rate Kinski. I think he's decent. Kevin Danso on loan is a great signing, considering they have 0 centre-backs. So he's going to be thrown in the thick of it straight away. And they defo needed a more threatening player up top. And Matis Tell, I think, fits that bill. I'll tell you what, it's a decent window. I think it could improve their form, Because this is realistically is what Spurs need, because if they don't improve their form, they might get relegated.
Don't even say it, mate.
Right, Chelsea now. Now, Chelsea's always a very controversial one, in my opinion, because they're one of those teams where I just sit there and I think how they haven't been done by FFP, but teams like Everton have. It just does not make sense to me. They've got nobody in for the January transfer window, and they've loaned a bunch of players out and it looks like João Felix has an option to buy for AC Milan. But a bunch of these players got loaned out. In fairness, they have so many players. Like, the only one they really brought back was Chalobah off from loan. But it's a pretty dead window, innit? Because if we look like Chelsea, yeah, they're fourth, right? After the last 2 seasons they've had, where they were like mid-table, like down here, it's definitely an improvement on the form side of things. But they've started to slip, so I would have imagined they would have looked at some incomings. I think their window was a gulag.
Really?
Oh, actually, I think I might be a bit harsh on that. You know, oh, I might have to move it up to meh. No, I'll move it up to meh. I feel like I'm being harsh, just because I view Chelsea as like a big club that should be challenging for like titles. So I don't know. I might be being a bit harsh, but I'll slap them in meh. Newcastle's another one. I just feel like they're so inconsistent compared to like their quality.
Very false.
I mean, they lost to Fulham, beat Southampton, lost to Bournemouth, beat Wolves, Bromley, Arsenal, Spurs, United. To be fair, their form is quite good. So who did they bring in? They brought in absolutely nobody, which is low-key shocking. Who did they... Oh, yeah, and they loaned out Lloyd Kelly. They sold Almiron. It's not a great window, is it? They should have done more. Because they're at the end of the day, they're going to be trying to challenge for UCL, aren't they? Because like they're currently 6th. They're like 2 points out of the top 4 behind Chelsea and City. I don't think they had a great window at all. Respectfully, the window is a gulag. It's getting gulagged right now. Right, this is probably the one I'm going to have the most insight about. Man United, my favourite club, Manchester United. Let's not look at the flipping league table, because that is a bit embarrassing.
I might smash into somebody just to make me feel better.
We are beyond inconsistent. Like, we lose to Palace, but we beat Fulham, which makes 0 sense. Like, we definitely needed a backup centre-back, especially now with Lisandro Martinez being injured. So Aiden Heaven is a great signing, in my opinion. Although I feel like he might end up just being part of the academy. But I kind of hope that's not the case, because I think we need a centre-back to step up. Then we've got Patrick Dorgu, in my opinion, is a brilliant signing. Low profile. We've needed a left-footed left-back for years, and we finally got one. And he's young as well, so he's going to be like he's going to be there for a while. And as much as I love Diogo Dalot, I just don't think that left wing back role is suited for him. But it's definitely suited for Dorgu. Not a striker. We need a striker, because like Xerxes, in my opinion, is not a striker. He's a cam. I think he'd be so much better in the system as a cam. And Rasmus Højlund is not getting the service required, and also isn't really doing much solo. But all around, it's a pretty meh window. We should have done a lot more. There's a lot more issues, and considering we're meant to be challenging for Europe and we're 13th, I think that's a gulag window. The only reason it's not in the Arsenal category is because we signed one position that we needed. Arsenal didn't-ish. But otherwise, it would have been in the bottom tier. All right, West Ham is the next on the list. I feel like, I can't remember if they've done much, but I feel like they did have a decent window for what they needed. If I look, West Ham are 15th, which, to be fair, is not ideal. I think the quality of their squad is better than 15th, in my opinion. They brought in Evan Ferguson, which is a major upgrade on their other strikers. Like, if we look at their other strikers, what are we saying? We've got Mikel Antonio, who, in fairness to him, is out injured because of the car crash, and like, you know, get well soon and that. Fulkrug and Danny Ings are just getting on a bit. Do you get me? Like, Kudus is not a striker. Somerville's not going to play up front. Jared Bowen can definitely do a shift up front, but I think he's better on the right. Evan Ferguson is a great signing. But they have not done much of anything else. So with that in mind, do I think that's a good window? I think they needed the striker more than anything. And I think their form will improve anyway under the manager. So I think Mare window. I'm trying to think now because it's so subjective. Because it's not just like bringing in players; it's bringing in the right players. Because like obviously City did that, but they targeted positions they needed, and that's why they're up there. Like same with Spurs, it's like they targeted positions they needed, and so they could definitely improve their form. Like I think West Ham is a case where the window's not really going to improve their form; the manager will. Because Graham Potter's been doing the business for West Ham at the moment. I'm not going to lie. Crystal Palace now. To be honest, I do quite like Crystal Palace as a club. Don't know. They're just one of those teams I weirdly have a soft spot for. Low-key might need to get a Crystal Palace top. Crystal Palace are sat in 12th because they beat us the other day, which is shocking from us, but amazing for them. In terms of form, what are they saying? 3 wins out of 5 is not bad. 1 loss out of 5 is definitely not bad. In terms of signings, Romain Esse, from what I gather, I haven't watched much of him. I think he's a baller. People online have been raving about Romain Esse. And also in his first game, he got subbed on and a minute later with his first touch, scored his first goal for Palace. I think that's a sign. It seems a bit weird, Ben Chilwell, for me. Because I think Tyreek Mitchell, I swear he's so much better than Ben Chilwell. I think it's a pretty dead window. I think Gulag. It's not really going to help them much in the long run. Well, Romain Esse will help them in the long run. But Ben Chilwell's a weird sign-in for me. It just doesn't really make sense. I mean, yeah, he's probably going to get more playtime at Palace than he is Chelsea. Don't get me wrong. But in my opinion, Mitchell's just a better left-back than Ben Chilwell. So, I don't know. This will be a very interesting one because they sold quite a few players I rate, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't think they've got many people in. But where are they in the table out of interest? They are currently 10th. But based on points, they could definitely push for Europe. So with that in mind, what are the transfer situations saying? Yeah, they signed this striker. I'm assuming replacement for Evan Ferguson. But it is, I don't really know much about him. So should I look? What are we saying? 10 goals and 1 assist in 13 starts is not bad at all. But he was playing in, oh no, he is Greek. What country was he playing in? Oh, he's playing in the Bundesliga 2nd division. It's a very interesting one because that's like quite a step up, the Premier League from the Bundesliga 2nd. But in terms of players out, they sold Evan Ferguson, who I do rate. They loaned out Julio Enciso to Ipswich, who I do rate. I'm pretty sure Valentin Barco's meant to be a baller too. So it seems like they've, sold more than they've gained. And also I feel like the quality that they've brought in isn't really the same as the quality they've let go. So for that reason, they're going to go in Gulag low-key. I'm sorry, Brighton fans. It's a Gulag thing for you. Right, Bournemouth now. Right, Bournemouth have been flying. Low-key, I think they get Europe this season. I'm just saying. My little prediction for you. But if we look at Bournemouth Football Club, to be fair, Bournemouth could genuinely get Champions League, and I would actually love to see that. The thing is, they haven't really brought anyone of note in, and they haven't really got rid of anyone of note. I mean, Philip Billing is meant to be decent, no, but he on loan. They're not really missing. They're not really missing anyone. It's a bit of a weird window for them, so I'm just going to put them in meh. This is it's not a good window, but it's not a bad one. Like, they didn't really need to bring anyone new in, necessarily. Right, next on the list is Fulham. Another one that could for sure challenge for Europe. I mean, the quality of some of the lower rated teams this season has been mental, by the way, just saying. Because, how you've got, Spurs and United here, you've got Nottingham Forest are sat in fucking 3rd. It's a bit weird. Chelsea were a mid-table team last season.
This is football heritage.
I think they've needed some transfers, in my opinion, and they haven't brought anyone in. Have they taken any? They've literally done nothing. Fulham have done nothing this window. Low key, they might have to go in the Arsenal tier. Yeah, do you know what? Considering they have a lot of not failed per se, because they're good, they're ballers to be fair, but like players who did play for Arsenal now play for Fulham. So I feel like they count for this category. Do you get me? It's just Arsenal 2.0. Right, Wolves. Wolves definitely needed a big transfer window because they have been off the money big time. I mean, they brought in a centre back, which could be a good. In fact, they bought 2 centre backs. Apparently, Manetzi's meant to be really good, and so is Agbadu. Apparently, they're both meant to be decent. Both from Stade Reims as well, it was great. Like Liga, and so they're proven in the top 5 leagues. That's great. They defo needed to bulk up on their defence, I reckon. And the midfield as well, to be fair. Manetzi's meant to be a great signing, I would imagine. And they loaned out a bunch of young talent, it looks like. So, all around, do I think it helps them stay out of relegation? See, this is a tough one to judge when they sign players you don't really know about. But like, if based on position, it'll probably Everton Football Club next. What are we saying? 16th. They've definitely improved under Moyes. I mean, this last few games have been brilliant. Like they beat Spurs, Brighton, and they battered Leicester. All they've got is Carlos Alcaraz on loan from Flamengo. Now I don't know much about this guy. How much did he play for Flamengo? He played 1 game and he scored once. He's also played for Southampton, but he was extremely mid, and he also played for Juventus. Who the fuck was this man's scout? How do you go from Southampton to Juve?
It's his job, isn't it?
Okay, so he seems to be like mid, but then again, that's Everton's bill, innit? Yeah, it's going to be another gulag for me. Mate, these windows have been... I'm noticing a theme here. There's only 3 windows so far that I've rated, like, well. Like, City and Villa were top windows. And then Spurs were just below them, but, like, definitely will improve their season. Wowzers, that is shocking. Brentford now. Brentford sat in 11th. Could definitely challenge for Europe, could not. What are we saying for transfers? Have they brought many in? They brought in a right back on loan, which could definitely be good. Because I feel like they defo needed a right back. What was their squad saying? Like, who was their right back in their last game? Azure. And he's out injured, to be fair. So, mega signing for them, having a right back. Whether he's a good right back, I am yet to find out. Oh, where do I rate this flipping window? I think Brentford might be... It's definitely one of these 2 tiers. Like, it's another, like, kind of bang average transfer window. I think for that reason, I'm starting to think I put them gulag and then I move Palace up because I think Palace have had a better window than all these lot now that I'm thinking about it. Executive decision and that. Who's the dictator? It's flipping me. Right, Forest have been flying, right? So a lot of their players are decent. I feel like they're going to want to try and tie down a lot of these signings more than actually sign anyone new. However, what is their window saying? They brought in Wayne Hennessy on a free, and that is it. Wayne Hennessy is a weird signing. Did they even need a goalie? Oh, to be fair, Wayne Hennessy might be an improvement on this guy. Who is he? I mean, he's the FA Cup keeper by the looks, but he looks like he's done all right. That's a weird one. But like, how many has Wayne Hennessy played for him? I don't know. But I would say that's a gulag transfer window, Loki. Because you can't tell me you're going for Champions League, yeah. You're going for Champions League and you've brought in Wayne Hennessy. As a Welshman myself, I can't even defend that, low-key. Leicester City now. Leicester City. Now, they are in the relegation zone at 18th, but I feel like they've dug their own grave there with how they dealt with managers. Because they were 15th with Steve Cooper. And as much as I love Van Nistelrooy, they were asking way too much for him with the players they have. They brought in some right back from Parma, could be decent, and they loaned out a bunch of players. There's a lot of that this transfer window, I've noticed. But it's another gulag transfer window because it's just not improving their season at all. Like, what is it going to achieve? Like, I don't think signing a right back is going to save their season, to be honest. Like, there's definitely much better they could have done. Ipswich, right. I can already tell this is going to be... This is definitely a transfer window I go in to appreciate. Ipswich have done godly business, right? They've brought in Ben Godfrey on loan, which is brilliant. They've signed Jaden Philogene on a permanent and Julio Enciso on loan. I tell you what, that's a great window. And they didn't lose anyone that was important to their season already. So, with that being said, their form is going to improve so much with that. Like, I genuinely think they might be able to escape relegation with that. So it's going to be a highly rated flipping window for me. Ed Sheeran FC is getting highly rated. The final club of the Premier League for me to rate is Southampton. Now, these lot, I don't think they could sign Mbappe and they'll get relegated, man. They are so bad.
You surprise me to how shit you are.
What are we saying? They brought in 4 players, and I've never heard of any of them. One of them played for Stade Rennes, so they can't be half bad. And same with like Antwerp is not a bad club. Okay, it's a gulag one for me, personally. Oh, actually, maybe a Meh, because they signed quite a few players and they were definitely looking to improve. So that is the completed tier list. I can't lie. There's a big bulk of Prem clubs that did niche. The only thing I can pray is that United don't get relegated and City get their 115 charges to the National League North. With all due respect, I'm sure it's lovely down there, but I need City to leave. If you enjoyed and would like to see more, check out the playlist down below. There's going to be more like football stuff eventually. This is the first one on this channel. But like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. My beautiful man, Miguel. Stay frosty and peace.